The Unhappy Hour on the new AmericanMedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM radio network at thenewamericanmedia.com. My name is Brian Engelman, and I am going to be your host, and I don't know how much of the U.S. Women's World Cup we're going to cover. That's up to Zach. That's not really the thing that I'm here to cover. If he wants to talk about it, coolio. Who's Zach? Zak Baris is a former NBA scout, current NBA consultant, lifelong Cleveland sports fan, and so we're definitely going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers free agency moves, and we're going to talk about some of the other moves and maybe a little bit of draft recap. Moving forward, it's an interesting time. The NBA really never stops. You know, first it was the finals, then it was the draft, and now it's on to the free agent period, and it's pretty interesting right now. LeBron James is holding out. He wants to make sure Tristan Thompson is paid because his management company represents Tristan. But you see LaMarcus Aldridge go into the Spurs for $80 million. You're like, Tristan wants more than $80 million? He's not the player. He's not the player that LaMarcus Aldridge is. So we'll get into that and a few other things, but first, check out our homepage at thenewamericanmedia.com. On the right-hand side is the TNAM radio button. That's where you click play to listen live, and we usually send out reminders on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, we're at American_media_. Follow us. On Facebook, you can do a search for The New American Media with spaces in between, and then like the page, or it's on the homepage, like I said, underneath the TNAM radio, the Twitter and Facebook, and also, perhaps most importantly, is, what would that be? YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Subscribe. If an ad plays, you can let it play and maybe click the link, and that ends up kicking a couple of, you flick a couple pennies into the wishing well for us, and it helps fund our operations here, and we always appreciate that. And then you can continue the conversation there, as we try to do with all of these. And, yeah, we like continuing the conversation because we want to get your thoughts and ideas, just like Greg always chimes in, and we have a few more people starting to chime in, and Corey, he's just everything NBA, he's always chiming in, so, you know, we want you guys to be a part of that as well. You can do a search for The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. It's a private group on Facebook. Just launched it recently, and the membership is up pretty good. It's a great place to get your breaking sports news action, and a lot of good conversation, commentary, questions, and whatnot over there. So check that out. The only thing is, since we won't know who you are if you send a request, you got to kind of be rocking something from you know, the Buckeyes or the Indians or the Cavs or the Browns, so that we know that you belong in the group. It really helps. So, who belongs in the show? Zak Baris. So let's go ahead and bring him in.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I'm living the dream, man. Congratulations on the USA Women's World Cup title. I know you had a lot invested in that.
Oh, tons. I mean, I was watching it, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's better to win it than to not win it.
I'm thinking Arby's right about now.
I'm going to move along real quick. Yeah, so that happened, and I don't think you and I have talked. Yes, moving very quick. 10-foot pole. You and I kind of talked, and we did a NBA draft, a mock draft. We haven't really talked since then. Did the draft pretty much go how you were expecting? Were there any big surprises for you?
I'm happy with Philadelphia did. I'm surprised in a good way. Very happy in a good way.
Because?
Like I said, I was doing it what I thought Sam Hinkie would do, and he proved me wrong. I'm glad they took Jahlil Okafor. You don't know the status of Joel Embiid, and if Joel Embiid is healthy, it gives you the chance to trade one of the three. You know, if he is healthy, it gives you a chance to trade Noel. Okafor, I think, is a cornerstone. I think he's better than both of them. You know, I think there's less of a wild card with Jahlil Okafor. I think Jahlil Okafor, you're going to get a dominant offensive center. With Joel Embiid, I really don't know what you're getting. Honestly, I thought Okafor was more NBA ready than Embiid to begin with. And Nerlens Noel still doesn't have an offensive game, so you're getting the center you needed. So I thought Philadelphia, you know, like I said, the first, you know, and like I said, I was very happy again that D'Angelo Russell went to the Lakers. I thought it was a perfect fit. I really like it over there. I think he's going to be a hell of a player. And like I said, at number 2, I couldn't decide who they were going to take. And, the morning of the draft, I knew it was D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting there.
I thought the Lakers did a good job getting D'Angelo Russell. I like that move a lot.
Randall's coming back. Kobe's there for one more year.
They just got Roy Hibbert, and they just signed Brandon Bass and Lou Williams today. They're still going to suck.
so Mo Williams to Cleveland is a pipe dream now. That's a goner.
No, why is that a pipe dream?
Oh, wait, I thought you said, who else did they sign?
I said they signed Lou Williams.
Oh, I thought you said Mo Williams. I was going to say, I did not hear about that one. I'm hearing that the Cavs might go for Joe Johnson. The Cavs might go for...
Yeah, it would be a trade involving Brendan Haywood and Anderson Varejao, which would make sense as to why the Cavaliers have serious interest in David West. And if you give me the choice, if I could have Joe Johnson and David West or Anderson Varejao, I'm probably going to take Joe Johnson and David West. If you're not counting in money. If Dan Gilbert's willing to spend whatever he has to win a championship, fine. I don't care. Give me Joe Johnson and David West.
He's going full poker off. Is that how you said Prokhorov?
This could be including the tax. This could go down as one of the highest payrolls in sports history, higher than even the Yankees' payroll.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
That was a few years ago. Think about that for a second.
Well, remember, George Steinbrenner wanted to initially buy the Cleveland Indians, but he was shut out of the deal, so he went to New York and made it happen there. So it's not unprecedented that there was an owner that wanted to be affiliated with Cleveland. That one just couldn't. This one just happened to increase his net worth from $1 billion to $4 billion in the 10 years since Dan Gilbert's owned the Cavs.
You have a Cavs team also that, with LeBron James and with this team, if this team wins a championship, they could be worth close to, why are they less valuable than the LA Clippers? Tell me that. The Clippers are the secondary market in LA. They're not the primary team. They just lost their star center. Their chance of winning a championship are essentially gone for next year. I mean, powers have shifted in the West, not really, but they have a little bit. I mean, let's put it this way. Dallas is considerably stronger. They added Wesley Matthews, and they added DeAndre Jordan to go along with that team. They're considerably better than they were a year ago. And they got rid of their dead weight in Rajon Rondo. Okay?
What a fall from grace. What a fall from grace with Rajon Rondo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, but with Golden State, look at that roster. Their entire roster, they'll probably trade David Lee, but will probably be entirely intact next season. Unless they make some trade. But like I said, David Lee is the one to go. So Golden State's essentially putting the same roster on the floor. You have to assume they'll be better, too. Curry's a year better. Klay Thompson's a year better. Okay, now let's take San Antonio. San Antonio, a great team, just added arguably the best power forward in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is that for what the Lakers did in the draft, man, they kind of swung and missed. They're really settling. They didn't get any of the big names they were going for.
And this is something we've been talking about. This is now they're putting patchwork pieces together by signing guys like Brandon Bass, Lou Williams, trading for Roy Hibbert. These are not guys that are going to win you a championship next year. There's no doubt in my mind the Lakers will not win a championship next year. I mean, even if Kobe's healthy and he's back to 2009 form, they're the 7th or 8th seed at best in the West. I don't see them as a playoff team personally because I don't know what Kobe's going to do. And let alone he's barely played over the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's true.
But LA has struck out. The whole thing with Pau Gasol, that whole trade a few years ago that fell apart for Chris Paul, really stained the Lakers as a franchise, it's looking like. Because nobody wants to sign there. You saw Marc Gasol didn't even give them consideration. You look at guys, Aldridge didn't like their basketball pitch. Yeah, you can show the world Hollywood, but like I said, today with social media, it's so globalized, and you can be in a city. It's tough in Oklahoma City to gain the notoriety. It really is. In Cleveland, it's not very difficult. Cleveland's a big city. It's been around for years. You can be a big name in Cleveland. You can. Cleveland's not Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is a 1-sport town. Cleveland's a 3-sport town.
Yep, very true. Do you think Kevin Durant, it's a sure thing he's out of there, or maybe 50-50?
His comments also regarding LaMarcus Aldridge, go there and read those. I'm not one to, go and sit there and go, oh, look at those comments, he's leaving. But it's just so foretelling, basically. Just the foreshadowing that Kevin Durant's giving, basically, he's going to leave if they don't win the title next year. He's going to. Man. And I don't see Oklahoma City getting past San Antonio. I think San Antonio is too dominant.
Talk about what LaMarcus Aldridge does to San Antonio. Everybody's saying like they're now the team to beat in the West, at least on par with Golden State.
Here's the thing: Golden State is still the team to beat because they won it last year. Okay. They won it, and they won 67 games.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of it still depends. The Lakers. The Spurs are now a team that's their two top players are not old. Aldridge is 30, and Kawhi Leonard is still in his early 20s, and they're both locked up for the next 4 years. Kawhi's locked up for 5 years. So, so look at San Antonio. But San Antonio still needs, I'm not worried about the play they'll get out of Parker. Ginobili still needs to be there. His play needs to step up. And, what do you do with, and Tim Duncan is obviously going to give you consistent numbers. I don't know if we'll ever see the day where Duncan, isn't Tim Duncan, because his body's been preserved so well throughout the years.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. What he's on? He's on 19 years now?
Yeah, I mean, Pop has done a great job with him. He's a fantastic coach. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be a conference championship, most likely. I mean, I do have a little doubt, because Oklahoma City, if Durant is healthy, will be there. That's the thing. There's 3 great teams in the West: Golden State, San Antonio, and OKC. And then you have second-tier teams like Dallas and Memphis, which aren't easy to beat either.
And the Rockets.
And, the Rockets are up. The Rockets are just below that Tier 1 now. So the Tier 1 teams I would put as OKC. I'd put Golden State, San Antonio, and OKC as your Tier 1. Your Tier 2 is the top Tier 2 team of the Houston Rockets. Then after that, there's another, basically a small little step down where you have Memphis and Dallas. And then I think that's it right there. And then you have your 7th and 8th seed, which will probably be, the LA Clippers somewhere in there. And then another team. Obviously, Portland won't be there. Phoenix really, really missed out on Aldridge, because Phoenix would have been a force with Aldridge.
Man, Phoenix did that Dwight Howard thing.
Imagine having Tyson Chandler, LaMarcus Aldridge in your front court, and your back court's Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight.
Yeah.
It would have been a pretty formidable roster. That team would have gone very far in the West.
Well, Phoenix did what the Lakers did with Dwight Howard, taking out the billboard, taking out the big sign, and that didn't work. Yeah. that's a lousy. I remember when LeBron was up for free agency, it was born here, raised here, plays here, stays here. And there were all those signs really, guys, signs don't work. Sorry, but
I think
signs
we figured
don't
that
work.
out, and that's why Cleveland didn't do it the last time. They didn't do it last summer trying to get LeBron back. There were nothing. Well, there were a couple billboards. There were a couple electronic billboards you saw, that said home. But.
Well, let me switch from the Cavs for a second, because I definitely want to kind of get into some of the things that the Cavs have done and some of the things they might still do. But you touched on DeAndre Jordan. Why is that going to be so crippling for the Clippers?
It's crippling to the Clippers. And that's a tongue twister.
I know. I said that got tough as soon as I said it.
The Clippers last year, don't forget, were one game away, less than a quarter. Where it was a double-digit lead. I think it was a 15, 17-point lead from going to the conference finals and playing Golden State.
I know that's
such a
Cleveland-y way to go down too.
That's beyond Cleveland. That's Buffalo.
That's Buffalo. Either way, it's pretty rough. Not a bad first season for Ballmer.
I was sitting there watching that game, and Houston won by double digits. That's what was so. You're looking at it and you're like, oh, my God. But Golden State caught some breaks in the playoffs last year. There's no doubt. They didn't beat a team with a healthy point guard throughout the playoffs. I still have no doubt in my mind, and I'm not being salty about it because Golden State's a great team. But I have no doubt in my mind if the Cavaliers were healthy last year, they would have won that series probably in 5 games. They were the better team than Golden State. Don't forget, the Cavaliers just didn't have the depth to compete at the end of the season because they were playing Thompson was playing all these minutes. Normally, when he would have been able to come off the bench and been more valuable in the end of the game, they didn't have Kevin Love to space the floor. They didn't have Kyrie Irving. They had Matthew. They had Dellavedova fighting around the world when he's supposed to be out there for 4 to 6 minutes a night, and he's out there for 30 to 45 minutes a night, 35 to 45 minutes a night. So you know what? It just happened. It was still a great series, and I give Cleveland all the credit in the world, especially LeBron for being able to play through it, and guys like Shumpert who could barely lift his shoulder. JR didn't perform up to expectations, but you know what? They're going to be back this year. Who else in the East is going to beat them?
Well, hold on. Talking about they're going to be back, of course, that's the Cavs. But J.R. Smith, did he make a mistake opting out?
I think he did. I think he's realizing that there's no market for him. I think he'll be back with the Cavaliers on a 1-year, $7 million deal.
A what? 1 year? How many?
$7 million. 1 year, 8, somewhere in that range. He's very valuable. Don't forget what he did in the Atlanta series and what he did in the Chicago series. How valuable he was for Cleveland when he came back after the suspension.
And maybe
how valuable he was.
Yeah. Yeah,
The Cavaliers went 7-1 with him in the Eastern Conference Finals after the suspension. He was incredibly valuable. I mean, don't forget what he did to the Hawks. He torched them.
Yeah.
Torched them.
Just hitting
and
everything.
And nobody can take that away from JR. Yes, JR was bad in the championship. He was very bad. But at the same time, I don't know if they would have been there without JR. I really don't.
It was such a depleted
team.
He
lit a spark. He lit a fire under those guys to take charge. I mean, and like I said, if JR would have played like he did in the Atlanta series and the Golden State series, the Cavaliers would have been walking home with the title.
Yeah, he did not perform that way, and it was tough, which is why, it's important that we sign all of our team and make sure that you have a rotation of 7, 8, 9, 10 players that can actually play.
Well, yeah, you saw what you needed to do in Golden State. When you shorten your rotations in the playoffs, you see valuable guys only playing, in matchup situations. A guy like David Lee, who barely played all playoffs, barely played all season, is a guy who averaged, 20 and 10 just a year or two ago. Barely playing anymore. Andre Iguodala is not starting. We averaged 6 points a game this year. Won the league's most, the most valuable MVP of the finals. David Lee. They probably would have won the finals without David Lee. He was so valuable once he came in.
Wasn't that interesting, the interview that Iguodala gave where he said that Steve Kerr better win a championship or else he's going to kick his ass? I'm paraphrasing, but you remember that? Do you see that one?
I did not see that article.
Yeah, it was an interview that he did on ESPN, and I just kind of caught it. It must have been from earlier this season, and talked about his reduced playing time, and he said, well, Coach Kerr has a plan, and I'll tell you what, we better win a championship or else I'm going to kick his ass for making me come off the bench. It was like, whoa! And then that's the guy that got, NBA Finals MVP. Go figure. But no, I mean, it's important that the Cavs team is deep, and, it's tough, though, seeing LaMarcus Aldridge get $80 million on the Spurs and seeing that LeBron's holding out, huffing and puffing, until Tristan gets signed.
People are overblowing this so big. Okay?
But is Tristan in any realm of the universe worth more than LaMarcus Aldridge?
Here's the thing. Well, 5 years, $80 million compared to 4 years, $80 million. What Tristan Thompson did, you have to take it for what it is. What Tristan Thompson did for the Cavs last year makes him incredibly valuable. Incredibly valuable. He's worth the same amount of money as Draymond Green. I mean, Tristan Thompson generated 2.5 extra possessions a game based on his offensive rebounds last year in the playoffs. Do you know how incredible that is?
It seemed like it was happening every fifth shot. I'm surprised that number isn't 10.
Well, no, it's scoring. It's a whole equation. It's a totally different meaning than you're thinking. And to generate extra possessions like that saves you your team. You're getting offensive rebounds, it's getting you so many second chance points. He was that valuable. Without Tristan, they wouldn't have been anywhere there. Look what he did to the Bulls. The Bulls were frustrated. Even Golden State was frustrated. They didn't know how to answer. Eventually they figured it out. They were able to space the floor. But, the Cavaliers, if they keep adding pieces, they're going to be okay. They're going to be all right. They're going to have a breeze through the East. It wouldn't even surprise them if they go 12-0 next season in the playoffs. Getting through the East. And then, having a breeze before getting the West when these teams are just kicking the crap out of each other. Yeah,
I mean, the Cavs did have a lot of rest before the finals, but it's still caught up with them missing all their all-stars. And that's one of the things about the Cavs, locking in some of these players. Kyrie made a lot of money until we saw what everyone got paid this year. And you're like, wow, that's actually a bargain for Kyrie for, 5 years, 90?
And, Dan, you have an owner that's committed to spending and committed to his payroll, which is fine. It makes me so happy to see it. And Dan Gilbert, I will admit, has stuck by his word on this one. He has.
Yeah, a lot of them get gun-shy when it comes time to pull the trigger and write the check.
Most of these teams, try to get on luxury. I don't understand what Clay Bennett's doing in Oklahoma City. Go out there, get in the luxury tax and go and try to retain Kevin Durant. You're going to lose him. Not only are you going to lose him, you're going to lose Westbrook a year later.
Yeah, you leave Westbrook there with no help around him. He's going to bolt for sure.
I mean, what do you want these guys to do? Play in a small market town where they can't get help? Or, this is the point where the Lakers, come out because they go, okay, we'll spend the money. Even a team like Cleveland, the Knicks, you've got owners that are willing to spend money. The thing is, Kevin Durant's done all he can. I mean, Serge Ibaka, he's had talent around him. He's never been able to win it because, Oklahoma City always seems to be one piece short.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in. It reminds me of the Indians when they were like one starting pitcher away or one relief pitcher away, or So close in so many levels.
It's 2007 all over again when the Indians wouldn't make that big trade at the deadline to go out and get a big-time player. And what did it do? They were, 1 inning away from going to the World Series.
And what about Kevin Love? It didn't take long for him to come out and...
No, and Brian, like I told you all along, Kevin Love would be back in Cleveland next year. I told you that.
Hey, I said it too.
I've been talking to people all year ago. He's gone. I know he's going to go. He's not gone. Trust me, he's not leaving.
I mean, listen, this one I was about 80% sure on. By the time it got down to the final week last year, I was 95% certain LeBron was coming back. The Kevin Love thing, there were so many rumors out there. But, every time he was asked, he said the right thing. And, the Cavs...
He didn't even take a meeting with another team. He got rumored he's got a meeting with the L.A. Lakers on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
sure it is.
He signed a 5-year deal with the Cavs.
Exactly.
So...
And do you think that was a good move for Kevin Love to sign it instead of opting in for next year?
It's a riskier move to opt in, but like I said, he's set for his life. That's the thing. He's 31 when his contract's over.
Oh man, when you put it in perspective
26.
like that, jeez.
Only 26.
Take
the money. If you're going to be injured, then you don't get the money. What if it happens again next season? He opts in, or let's say he doesn't opt in. He just signs a 1-year deal, so he can be a free agent. Then suddenly he's not worth. No team wants to give him 20-something million. Some teams are going to give him 14. Not going to give him 22.
Yeah, that's very true. Players with a history. But it's weird because I just kind of think of these good players on the Cavs. Sometimes I think of the Kevin Love and, even the Kyrie Irving. I know he's really young, but I just kind of consider them all the same age for some reason. I know LeBron's been in the, 11 years now at this point?
LeBron's been in the league since 2003, 12 years.
Yeah, oh, man, that's incredible. So, I mean, it's great that we get Kyrie coming up and having a real mentor to look up to with LeBron and Kevin Love, who's been there before, and he multi-time All-Star and at the prime of his career.
Together. You've got Kyrie and Love locked up. You are going to win championships with this team. Mark my words on that.
Hey.
Cleveland will wind up breaking its curse with this team.
Yeah, and that was the over-under they were asking on, what was that, Golden Boys or something I listened to online. The over-under, will the Cavs win more or less than 1.5 titles?
That's it. I think it's going to be more. But
yeah.
let's take this roster for a second. You look at it in your Cleveland going, okay, we've got our core back. That's what matters. We've got Tristan coming back. We've got Bergeau coming back. David West opted out of a $12 million deal. Might even be willing to accept a veteran minimum deal to play for this team. Think about that.
That's pretty incredible.
Let that set in for a second.
All right, it's set in. That is pretty incredible. That's the thing that you never used to get out of Cleveland sports. We would overpay to get Andre Rison, or we'd overpay to get Sean Kemp. Rarely would we get like that hometown discount or the title chasing players, but now it's happening and it's pretty great. All things considered.
It's nice to see players wanting to play here. It's not such a bad town after all. And the weather might suck, but
just 3 months, just three seasons out of the 4.
Here's the thing: if you're a player right now and you want a championship, it's not coming through the Eastern Conference unless you're playing for Cleveland. Cleveland is the easiest route to that championship. Look at it. I mean, seriously, take your look at it and go, the Wizards aren't a threat. Are the Bulls a threat? No. The Cavaliers are beat up. They still beat the crap out of the Bulls in 6 games.
Yeah, it could have been 5. It could have been 4. Could have, would have, should have. But
like I said, it was still a 6-game series, but the Cavaliers are noticeably better than the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
The Bulls' current roster as is not as good as the Cavs, and they didn't do anything to improve it.
Well, they retained, right?
Yeah, they retained, but okay, the Cavaliers have retained too, and the Cavaliers are adding pieces. Don't really believe the Cavaliers are not done. They still haven't added anyone at the mid-level yet.
Well, the Cavs were trying to get Mike Dunleavy.
They still haven't traded Haywood yet.
That's true.
The Cavaliers are not done. Trust me, this team will come in much stronger than it was a year ago. Especially get a full season, these guys can, I hate the word gel because it gets overused, but as long as these guys can gel together and they're going to be on the court, you see this team add a couple guys that are going to be racing for 70 wins. I honestly don't think that'll happen because I think they're going to be benched too often.
Yeah, but
the amount of depth they'll have.
Yeah, but even when they're benched, what if their bench is Tristan Thompson, Joe Johnson,
let's say hypothetically,
J.R. Smith.
Let's say hypothetically, your starting lineup is Timothy Mozgov. You've got Kevin Love, LeBron, Shump, and Kyrie. Okay, you're starting 5.
Jeez.
Okay, let's take it there. Okay, let's take your next. Okay, your backup center is Tristan Thompson. You've got David West at the power forward. You've got Joe Johnson, J.R. Smith, and Mo Williams.
That's 2 full teams.
It's better than 30% of the starting lineups in the NBA.
That's 2 full teams right there. That's ridiculous.
Maybe 40 to 50% of this. 40% of the starting lineups in the NBA.
Oh, man.
Your secondary, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's going to be the roster by any means.
Yeah, I mean, the Joe Johnson thing that's such a horrible. How long is that Joe Johnson contract?
1 year. It's 1 year. That's
why.
One
so
year.
you overpay for 1 year, and then maybe would you re-sign him for a much lower market rate afterward? Perhaps?
Honestly, he's not going to be worth anywhere near $24.8 million.
So you overpay for 1 year, and then all the cap goes up exponentially next year anyway. So then all these deals look better.
Exactly.
All right.
So,
what other teams? Dan
Gilbert wants to win this year. He's willing to spend whatever to get that because don't forget he makes more money.
Yeah, more money and that's what I was saying. I need to go buy some more Cavs swag.
The casino. I'm just saying though, when the Cavs were winning, I was going out every night during the summertime, in the springtime when they were winning every night.
Yeah, because it was fun.
Yeah, I was drinking 5-6 nights a week. I don't ever do that.
Yeah, I know. You're usually 6 or 7.
No, I'm usually usually Fridays, Saturdays.
Right.
And and now I was at the point where I'm going to games. I'm going to games every other night. Then there were times, I'm watching the road games. I'll have a drink. It's just the bars were packed. It's great for the city to see that.
Yeah, it really is. I want to talk about another city that's seen a little bit of change here, Milwaukee. They got a new arena. They got a new owner.
I love what the Bucks have done.
Yeah, let's talk about it because they got significantly better, and you've been high on Greg Monroe. Why did Detroit let Greg Monroe go?
Oh, Greg Monroe is an unrestricted free agent. He hates Detroit.
He just doesn't like the area, or he doesn't like the team, or he doesn't like...
it's Detroit. Detroit. They're a mess. Their team's a mess. The Pistons are a mess. Take a look at this, though. You've got Greg Monroe as your starting center. You've got Giannis Antetokounmpo on that team. You've got Jabari Parker, Chris Middleton, and Michael Carter-Williams. Everyone in your core 5, is below the age of 27. And most of them are like 22. I think Antetokounmpo is like 20. Jabari Parker's 20. Michael Carter-Williams is like 21, and Chris Middleton's 23. Milwaukee has a decent chance to be the second best team in the East next year.
Well, of course, then there's the Heat. The Heat have made some moves too. That Dwayne Wade to Cleveland thing. I was always curious. I know you said stop it.
No, but I know your bubble last week when you were texting me, and I said no.
I know.
He's not coming to Cleveland.
It was his father getting up in church with a Cavaliers shirt and a Cavaliers hat, and he just come off the finals, being blown away by LeBron James, and saying, "When I played in Miami, we used to have a say." There was enough writing on the wall. Maybe that was just a coordinated effort to squeeze more money out of Pat Riley.
It may have been. It probably was. Now let's take a look at the Heat for next year. Yeah, Hassan White. Yeah, on paper they look like a team that could challenge the Cavs. In reality, no. Hassan Whiteside, Chris Bosh, Luol Deng, Dwayne Wade, and Goran Dragic is a good team. Give me their bench, other than Justice Winslow, who's going to be a rookie. Give me their bench.
Mike Miller, James Jones. I don't know. Who is their bench these days?
That's exactly my point.
Is Norris Cole coming to Cleveland? Because we got to get that backup point guard.
Yes, I do think it's a possibility. It depends if the Pelicans would match it.
Yeah.
Someone I had spoken with in the Cavs organization said, we had spoken during the playoffs about a month and a half ago. It indicated to me we were talking about Norris Cole having a drink. And he goes, we'd love to get Norris Cole, but I think the Pelicans would match it.
Okay.
But it would be in the works. Now, if they don't match it, then they have a chance. I think there's a decent chance he could play in Cleveland. I don't think Miami's a challenge to the Cavs. I think the top teams in the East next year, you've got Cleveland, you've got Chicago, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Washington, and then Miami. Miami will probably finish in the 6th seed.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, because you wonder with getting Bosh back and getting Wade back that they might
They still don't have a guy that can play 80 games a year. LeBron facilitated that offense. Everything about them. LeBron was the whole team.
Yeah, he does that. It's like feast or famine. It's great to have, but you also realize, you watch other teams and how they move the ball around. It's just a different way to play. Not that it's necessarily wrong, but it's nice to see if they're at least able to share the ball and backside screens and like having a lot of movement. I get tired of watching 1-on-1 or 1-on-5, 5-on-5, whatever. I don't know. It's good to have that in your bag of tricks. I just feel like the Cavs rely on that way too often for their offensive set. We blamed Mike Brown for that. We blamed other people for it, but I mean, it's really a LeBron thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's essentially the coach. Do you see David Blatt coming back 100%?
I think at this point he's back. Yeah.
Like if he hasn't gone by now, well, but then again, maybe that's another part of why LeBron's holding out. Maybe he doesn't.
That's not why. I'm telling you, he's back next season. I'd be shocked if he's not at this point. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, it seemed like if he made it past that first 2 weeks afterward, that he was going to stick around.
If LeBron wanted him gone, they would have been out of here. The Cavaliers would have had a new coach by now. Do you think they would have waited this long?
Yeah, because all the good candidates would have already been taken, and then you're, bobbing for apples after it's been out a couple nights. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much that. What else going on in the world of sports? You paying attention to anything with the Tribe trying to turn things around, or the Buckeyes?
They won 5 in a row, now they've lost 2 in a row, so it's tough.
Yeah, I know. You know what I did like? Who was the pitcher they had that was doing all the different batting stances? I don't know if you happen to...
Oh, Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, it was Trevor Bauer. Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty funny, just doing all the different batting stance quirks from different players on the team. The only thing he didn't do, I want him to come back and do like a vintage Tribe and do like a Julio Franco, pointing the bat. Like that's the one I always went for. It was such a bizarre batting stance. No, man, I don't know. I'm getting excited for the Browns. I'm getting excited for the Buckeyes. I love this time of year because the dog days of summer are kind of hitting hard, and at some point it's going to start cooling off, and that's football time, and I love it personally. So, what other big moves do you expect to happen within a week? What do you think the timeline is of the rest of these free agents to settle? Is it going to happen this week, or is it going to drag out?
It's going to be soon.
Okay. The dominoes are going to start clicking, and it's just they're going to start snapping up whoever's left, and it's going to be done. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it'll be soon.
All right. Well, then basically what you're saying is we'll have time maybe to connect next week and probably have a lot more to go over, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds good with me, man. Any final thoughts for you on your way out the door?
No. I think that's about it for now. I mean, obviously we'll have another free agent talk next week, and then, but it's starting to get exciting. It's nice to see a fun offseason in Cleveland once again.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous to spend Yankee money, but hey, we've never done this. Let's try this instead of being the penny pinchers for a change. I'm okay with it. Dan Gilbert certainly has the loot. What does he have? 4 casinos now? Cincinnati and Cleveland and where at? Detroit?
He has a fair amount.
Okay.
I don't know which ones he has, but he's got a fair amount.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take an owner willing to put his money where his mouth is. And, who knows? Maybe this is payback for LeBron and the letter and not fully forgiving Dan and making sure that LRMR gets Tristan that huge deal. The sooner all of these things happen and that they're finalized, the better. Not that I'm doubting they're going to be back. It's just, the sooner it's taken care of, the happier I'll be. So, anyway, Zach, I'm happy that you were able to join us today, and we will catch up on some more of the stuff next week. Maybe we'll even go to the LA Sports Radio Talk Show caller guy next week. Maybe we'll do it next week for those final.
I'm sure he'd be pretty happy about what the Lakers are doing right now, though.
You think so?
I don't know, Holmes.
What happened? What happened, LA Sports Radio Talk Show guy? Why didn't you guys go out and sign LaMarcus Aldridge? What happened?
No, LaMarcus felt like he needed another year, and they have to trade to the Lakers next year for retiring Kobe Bryant or something.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like a 5-year deal. I don't know if they can trade Kobe next year because he's not signed for next year. Is that how that works?
You have a couple of first-round picks.
Oh, a couple first-round picks? Okay. But, I mean, that's still just going to leave, Julius Randle and DeAndre Jordan and LaMarcus. Any other players you have your eye on for next year?
You get LeBron James again. And Kevin Durant.
Oh, LeBron James and Kevin Durant. That's right. They're both going to be...
team up with Kobe to win him the 6th ring.
Oh, the 6th ring. The infamous... Because Kobe is better than Michael Jordan, right?
And Kyrie Irving.
And I still got to pull that part out where it's just Kyrie Irving. All right, we'll see what moves the Lakers do next week, and we'll talk with you again soon, Zach. Thanks for your time, buddy.
All right, Brian. Oh, one more thought.
Yeah.
If Brett can do that Photoshop of the roast beef hat for me later.
Okay, moving along. Zach, thank you. God almighty. All right. I'm just going to let that one go and stop laughing. If you missed it, then you missed it. All right. Special thanks to Zak Baris. If you're not following him on Twitter, he's at ZBaris. That's ZBaris. My name's Brian Engelman for the TNAM Radio Network here at the NewAmericanMedia.com and the Unhappy Hour. I appreciate you. I love you. Go Cavs. And peace.
It's the